Okay, it is recording. Hi. Welcome to Not Really Talking. That's not my voice.
No.
That's not my voice. Okay, so today, this time I'm not alone. We have Colin, Mr. Colin over here, and we have Anna. Hello to both of them.
Hello.
Hi. It's hopefully not going to be a super long one, even though we have. I think last time I had 2 topics, but these are like 2 actually different topics.
You'll have discussion partners.
We have discussion partners, so it's gonna be a lot, hopefully more fleshed out. Last week we talked about racism, Black America, and college life, and this time going to be discussing relationships and sexuality and different things within those 2 things. The first thing on my bullet point list we're going to talk about is making friends in a new environment. We're all in college. We are all from different places. How far away from home are you guys?
I'm from St. Louis, which is 2 hours away.
I'm 3 hours from here.
And
Nobody knows what that is.
23 hours away from my original place of living place.
And you drove.
And I drove, and that took a long time to get here.
My mom, she'll kill me.
So we're all removed from our friend circles in some sense, and we're all away from our usual environment. So normally what you do when you're not around people you know is you meet more people that you don't know, and you say, please, let's interact with each other. And
That's how I met you guys.
No. You lured us into your room.
You did, with the promise of pop culture and aliens.
And coffee holders.
Coffee holders.
A.k.a. mugs.
And that's when I knew it was meant to be.
Ding.
But the point is, when you're in a new environment like that, it can be scary, because even if we lived somewhere in Colombia, this is a whole different beast, because you got a lot of... I think so. I don't know, because can you imagine being like, yeah, I go down to insert place in downtown, but I live like a little further away, and then you come up and there's like 35,000 people, and they're all like, go Tigers, really loud. You're like, whoa. Oh my, I don't know about this. But I think it's important to know that whenever you go into a new environment like that, where there's a big lump of people who are all trying to figure out what being alone somewhere is, you shouldn't be afraid to like talk to people randomly, because like we all kind of just at one point or another would bump into each other, and we probably didn't say anything until a certain like conversation.
I think it was because none of us knew anyone, so we all the people who didn't have friends congregated into the group.
Exactly.
So that's how it worked.
I think it tells a lot about people when you see them immediately start talking to each other, because then you get an idea of who they think is going to be their friend immediately. Like you go, that one might not hate me. I'm gonna speak right now. And then the others trickle in if you happen to like something, or you use voices.
I wasn't even, because of band, like for the first week, I didn't even like know who you guys even were.
We just heard your name.
I was the ghost.
I wasn't sure who Matt's roommate was until you came in one day and you were like, I'm gonna go to bed. I was like, oh, he seems so tired. He seems like a nice young man.
I had 12-hour rehearsal days.
It's honestly, being in college after whatever the hell high school was. I don't know what that was, but being in college is very different. Is it what you guys expected?
Yes and no.
No.
I had a lot of friends that, you know, had, like, I knew a lot of people and talked to a lot of people that had just gone off. So I had a lot of friends in the class above me, so, like, they were telling me things, but, like, nothing that they could have told me could have, like, directly related to my experience so far. Just because, you know, only one person I knew previously had gone, two, but, like, one person that was, like, just a couple years older than me that I had known previously had gone here. So, like, you know, he could tell me some stuff, but, like, what I was going to do was going to be different than what he was going to do. And the people that I knew that went over to Illinois State or the University of Illinois were going to tell me different things than what I was going to expect here. So I could say that I had an idea, but never really fully to really make any, like, actual, like, assumptions.
I don't know. I think it's weird that at this point we determine literally everything about how this comes out to be. Like, we got up, you got up earlier than we did by sure, like, completely. We got up at 3 or so. Like, we got out of the bed at 3, and that's, don't do that. Please don't do that.
11 o'clock seemed late because now I feel like it should be, like, you know, 2 in the afternoon. What is it, like 6:30?
Yeah, it's 6.
I mean, when we get up at 6:30 every day for school.
That's true. It's just, it's
the days are so long.
Find a sleep schedule. Eat when you're supposed to. It's don't drink random things you find. I've seen someone do that while I've been in Plaza before.
They just walk by a table.
A dining hall. They
just walk by a table and just drink something on the table.
I've seen, like, a grown man with choices he makes every day that affect how he lives. He went to a table and he went, okay, and he drank it. And just don't do that. Don't do that. Make good choices. Make good choices. Talk to people. Don't stay in your dorm all the time. Or don't even if you're not in college or in a learning environment like that, don't stay holed up somewhere. Go out, interact with people, do things that involve, like, walking at some point.
We live so far out of the way that sometimes it's hard, but you have to remind yourself that, like, if you get there, you'll be fine. You just gotta get there.
Okay. Another thing to talk about, having a relationship in college, whether that be, like, at school or having a relationship while you're in college and it's somewhere. How opinions on that?
I don't know. People told me not to get in a relationship within the first, like, semester because you're transitioning. Obviously that didn't happen. But I don't know. I guess they're just saying get, you know, academics come first and everything. But I think it's good to be able to balance everything.
I also got the same message from people, like, don't do it. It's no, but yeah, I definitely did not listen to that.
In the first week.
I think in general, probably not a great idea, but it really, with most things, as far as a person's experience goes, it's your experience. I think at the end of the day, if you're in a place where you're like, well, fuck, that wasn't a great idea, you learn from it. But if it's a great one, next topic. I think there's anything to say about that. I don't know, because I can't say, well, I'm neutral on the situation, because I clearly made my choice.
As the outsider, I'm going to just say, be careful what you do, make your right decisions, but don't let your reasoning get in the way of what you want.
Nice.
Was that what you were trying to say?
Exactly what I was trying to say. Okay, what else? The importance of communication, whether that be within a relationship or just with the people around you, because whether you're in college or whether you're, like, in just a new environment where you're living in, if you don't make sure you're voicing your opinions or you're talking to people and you're making it clear what you want or developing, like, a dialogue between you and others, you tend to either miss out on things or you don't always get to feel good about what's going on. Like, if I said, Colin, I don't like that you do methamphetamines. If I didn't say that, you don't. He does not. But if I didn't voice that, would you ever know?
Probably not.
Point. It's a point on the scoreboard. I made a point. But, no, communicate. What do you guys think? Communication, very important when you're, like, building relationships with people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I've seen relationships end because of lack of communication, whether that be romantic relationships or, just friendships. Like, if you don't communicate, you don't know what the other person thinks, and that's just an obvious fact of life. Also, it's 4-0 Cardinals at the end of the first inning.
Cool, Cardinals.
Just a tidbit.
Thank you for communicating that.
No problem. The Mizzou game is still scoreless.
Communication in general, I feel like if you make an effort to improve communication with people around you, you just end up having a much easier time, like, making that relationship progress forward. Mm-hmm. Like, we have a lot of jokes all together, and if we didn't let each other know our, like, comfort levels as far as, like, humor goes, we wouldn't be able to, like, keep making jokes. Right. Like, someone would probably cough, and there'd be, like, a teardrop, as we don't know whether or not it was supposed to be, like, a joke. Because we, literally, if we didn't have any, like, real over-the-top humor, and I just went, and no one did anything, I would feel so uncomfortable. It was just a dying cough, and someone's just like, is he okay? He's fine, is he okay? What do we do?
Do I call his mom?
I feel like making sure you have an idea of who you're with and just how to, like, get along, that's important. Especially, like, in our dorm, in our residence hall, our specific floor gets along fairly well as far as moving out in a unit and not completely tearing each other apart.
There's some aspects of notness of what you were referring to, but
it's not
for
perfect,
the most part.
But it's functional. It functions at times. I think I think what's important about, as far as an example of our floor, is that people do keep each other, like, in the loop. If there's something that's going on as far as, like, a joke or something that people want to do, they make it known. Whether or not it's always effectively done,
sometimes I feel very out of the loop, but if I just ask, I can usually find my way into the loop.
Yeah, and I think the fact that we're able to build that kind of thing within our floor, and then we can go out and we'll talk about something, and people will be like, wow, they look like they're having fun, wonder what that's about. I feel like that.
I think the group chat really helped the first week.
Yes.
Because everyone didn't know each other, and the jokes ensued.
No.
Go Matt. Good job, Matt.
If you're on if you're living in a dorm for college, or if you're living in a shared space, have a group chat of some sort, or group me is especially great because you don't waste money on text messages. But if you do the texting thing, have a group chat, because it's nice. You get to stay in contact all the time. You can make plans to go out together. You can do a lot of things to stay connected, and you won't always feel like there's nothing to do. Because if you have the people that are also going, I'm bored, and you say together, we're bored, usually someone will suggest something you can do.
There's usually a group that goes swimming on the weekends. There's usually a group that's like, we're going to go eat now. So there's always somebody that's willing to do something that you're probably interested in.
Exactly. All right. Now we're going to make a nice little shift here towards self-identity. And I'll erase the comma, the the apostrophe.
Thank you.
The apostrophe, so it's the correct form. It's
Marcel-
self-identity.
Marcellus has terrible grammar.
It's self-identity. I can't even say no to that because I do. Self-identity and its part in sexuality. Self-identity, as far as like the way I wrote it down, I would say it goes hand in hand with being in college because you find out a lot of things about yourself because you're kind of faced with the fact that you make more choices for yourself now, and you also get to be in a place where any immediate like authority figure that you had back home isn't present to go, no.
Do not do that thing.
Do you guys feel like you've changed at all since you haven't been around like family or other friends back home? Like, do you feel any different?
Well, I used to be a unicorn, so I mean, I'm a little. Just kidding. And.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I definitely feel like the same person, but it's just like finding out different like aspects. Like, cause I feel like I'm a different kind of, not in a two-faced way, but like different kind of person around each.
Like it's a different shade.
Like
of
if it's just like if we're just alone, I'm kind of different than if all three of us together. Just so it's I don't know.
I understand. Like it's definitely a thing to have different. Not even I don't like the metaphor when people say, oh, we have different masks we wear with different people.
Right?
Different
Like,
hats.
Different hats. Because you're not hiding something. You're just it's something that's a part of your repertoire,
Well,
but it's also.
Yeah, but
I mean,
without
you talk differently to different people.
I do. My voice and my inflection and my cadence does change depending on who I'm talking to.
Like if I'm around my parents, like I'm wearing this hat of I am the sun. If I'm like around you guys, I'm wearing this hat of the best person that you guys even know. When I'm in band, I'm wearing the hat of baritone marcher.
You're
so
literally wearing a hat.
I'm literally wearing a hat then.
That one's a physical one.
So
Buy lots of hats. But yeah, it's very much learning that being a chameleon, whether it be socially or even based on your environment.
but don't hide in the environment.
Yeah, don't hide in it.
Yeah. Chameleon might not.
Oh, well,
Also,
that's a bad-
chameleons don't disguise themselves based on their background. They just change based on. You're trying so hard.
I'm
I just want to
trying
make sure
so
you're
hard.
scientifically accurate.
Don't be afraid if you feel like you change around different people, because lots of people do that. Just make sure that you're not changing because you don't feel comfortable being you. Sometimes we just have different experiences with different people, and that's okay. That's normal.
There's different relationships.
Yeah, it's different
Sides.
relationships.
Excuse me.
But to answer your original question, I think I'm very different than around home. Because like now we have so much responsibility, we have to figure out our time management skills
This is
or
very
lack
true.
thereof.
I procrastinated too much.
We all have. We really should be doing work at some point.
Or eating donuts.
Or eating donuts. Sponsored by Walmart. Baker Dozen Donut. Actually, this is a lie. It has 13 in it.
No,
yeah,
Baker's
it's a
dozen.
baker's dozen.
Is that a Baker's Dozen?
Yes.
I thought it was 12.
Well,
No.
it's a dozen is 12, and then baker's dozen is 13, so they throw in an extra one.
It's the extra. That's from the extra dough.
I've been lied to all my life. Speaking of, not speaking of anything. The other part of
You're
the
gonna
bullet
cut this
point.
up, aren't you?
What? No, this is going all in.
Oh,
This is
okay.
all going in. Sexuality in that sense. A lot of times, when you're figuring out how you feel about other things in your life, you might take time to think about, like, how do I feel towards other people, or, I guess, my own
Oh, sorry.
orientation as far as sexuality goes. And I feel like that's important. Don't deny yourself at least the thought or the discussion, whether it's an inner dialogue or a conversation in a safe space or with someone that you trust. Don't deny yourself that opportunity to find out more about yourself, because I think we all have a general consensus of like it's healthy to find out more about who you are, because if you don't take time now when you're in like these are like the years of our lives where people generally don't judge us for trying to figure out what we want. And that it's not that you can't do that when you're older, because of course you can. You can do whatever the fuck you want when you're older, because you're the one who pays for your bills. You're the one who like buys milk at 3 a.m.
You're the one making the big bucks.
You're the one bringing home the bacon. And
Manny Muck just got sacked.
And I think
Manny Muck just got
sacked. It can be more difficult personally later, because you've already kind of like established who you're gonna be for the rest of your life, and thinking about other things like that further on can be difficult. But take the time now. Take the time now to consider what it is that you identify as. And it's not like I'm saying put a label on yourself. Don't do that. You don't have to do that at all, because some people do feel comfortable having something to relate to, like a category in some sense, or some form of identity that helps them kind of feel, I guess, like they understand more about what it is that they're experiencing. But you can also remember that sexuality is, I like to think of it as fluid.
Spectrum.
It's a spectrum.
And there are many different spectrums. There aren't just the one.
Exactly. There is more than just one. There's no one definite thing to exist in. You can, and some of them, as far as yourself, like your own personal being goes, you can be lots of different things. No one is ever just one thing, really. And I think as far as interacting with others who are going through similar things, it's important to know that you're not alone. There's always going to be at least another person who feels in some way similar to you, or at least can relate to you.
That's where the communication comes in.
Exactly.
How do you know that another person felt that way? You did.
Exactly. You have to talk about these things, because if you don't, not everyone feels comfortable bringing them up. But finding places like forums, safe spaces, like I know a lot of campuses will have safe spaces. Well, campuses that know that it's important to have them will. But even in like in your community, sometimes there'll be places to talk, or even just opportunities, events to find people who will feel comfortable talking about these things. I think that's okay. That's just about it. We kind of like hit 3 bullet points in like one go. All I have here left is a little chit chat. And Boston Market, sponsored by Boston Market.
I've never been to Boston Market.
Boston Market, wonderful selection of chicken. They also have beautiful mashed potatoes.
My favorite food.
With a nice seasoning. And if you feel real adventurous, have some spicy mac and omelette du fromage. No, that's omelet. Cheese omelet. But some cheese. Some spicy mac and cheese.
It's like a grocery store?
It's actually like, imagine, okay, do you know what Macaroni Grill is?
Yeah.
Macaroni Grill. It's like the fast food version of that. You go in and you say, excuse me, sir or madam, can I have a leg of turkey? And they'll go, yes, you may. Would you also like mashed potatoes, gravy, and a biscuit? Well, yes, I would. And then you sit down there, and you're like, wow, this is not McNuggets, but it's also not home. It's not home food, but it tries.
Sounds like a Hy-Vee deli.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is.
Oh,
Hy-Vee's a supermarket.
We're gonna go.
Okay, we're gonna go.
Denny's. Hy-Vee.
Denny's, Hy-Vee Market, or Hy-Vee Deli. Where else haven't you been? Steak and Shake.
Steak and Shake.
You haven't been to Steak and Shake?
I don't know what it is.
My car permanently smells like Steak and Shake because I get it so often.
Let's go to an A&W sometime too.
I think we're hungry, so we're gonna go. Boston Market, sponsor me, please.